I guess we can't call this the Gloucester Gamble anymore. It's a bit sad, isn't it? It's just to remind you of what I went through in that last video. Lost my job. I'm doing so well. I'm over that now. I'm over it. We've got to move on. We've got to move on. And I know this is a sad time for us all. This is a very sad time for us all. But we've got to move on. We've got to press on. You know, and sure, I'm now unemployed. And sure, I'm now wearing my dressing gown because I don't need to leave the house at the moment because I don't have a job to go to. But there is stuff to be done. Let's just get on with it. I am the worst football manager ever, and welcome to another video. Now, today, what we're going to see is we're going to see the work I've been doing to get myself back on the management ladder, back on track, back in the road. We're going to be back on track, back in business, back to managing, back to what I've been born to do and manage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you who I've applied for and what's happened in my unemployment years, and then at the end of this video there might be some good news for the next stages. That's all I'm going to say. So you're going to want to stay tuned to hear what has gone on and what has happened, because there is good news at the end of this video, good news for all to hear and embrace as we step into the next realm of the worst football manager ever. Good. And so, just to let you know, to remind you that I played my last game against Boston in the league with Gloucester. Okay, let me just show you what happened in the last game. We played our final game for Boston and we lost 3-0. It was a sad day. Despite the epic team talk, we still lost 3-0 to Boston, and therefore I was sacked as the Gloucester manager. And what is, I think, the biggest kick in the face ever is that look at what their results have been since I've left. They won against Chorley twice in a row. They then beat AFC Fylde. They then drew against Harrogate, and then they beat Tamworth. I'm so annoyed. And as we look at the Vanarama National League North, look at them now. They're off the bottom, and they're now like nearly out of the relegation zone. So that is so annoying, so annoying. But it does. I guess it does say a lot about my own management. But I'm happy for them. You know, look, here's a 3-2 win with Adam Connolly scoring a pen, Dan Williams scoring a penalty, James Barragan scoring, the youngster who I bought in. Chorley as well, again, the second game we won 2-1. George Miller scored that time and James Barragan scored then. We go on to the next game and you see AFC Fylde won 2-0 against them. Jonty Smith scored and Barragan again. And then we go on to 2-2 draw with Harrogate, and it looks like a sort of a vaguely close game where actually they were going to win again. Jonty Smith, George Miller scored again, and then in this last game against Tamworth, look, 2-0 they won. Adam Connolly and James Smith, the terrible defender who kept playing rubbish for me, he scored as well. So, you know, there's this bittersweet thing going on with me. You know, I'm watching them do well, and I'm annoyed that they're doing well, because even you look at the players they're using, and it's basically the same starting 11 that I used, with the exception of Billy Jones maybe, who even in this game didn't play that well. But yeah, so it's bittersweet. They are doing rubbish, they are doing great, but you know, that should have been me, and it could have been me. If they've hardly touched their team, if I go to their senior squad, let's have a little look at the position selected here. You can see there the starting 11. How similar does that look to what I've been playing, eh? Do you know what I mean? This board, I don't know. But anyway, thank you to everyone who's given me support as I was manager of Gloucester. It was great fun managing them. I enjoyed the side. I felt like I was beginning to get to know them a little bit as well, getting to know the team. I think if I was given just a little bit more time, I could have done something with it. But never mind. We've got to move on. Oh, it's just quite sad, isn't it, when these things happen, and you know, and you want a little bit more time, and you get to know the boys, and we need to, you know, we were making bonds and friendships, but actually it was more than a friendship, it was a mission. We were on a mission together. So yeah. Cut the violin. We don't want the violin. No, okay, right, let's press on. We're pressing on, okay. So anyway, so since then I lost my job and things weren't great, and so what I managed to do is just look at the job centre, see what jobs were going, and I pretty much applied for everything going. Now I couldn't even remember off the top of my head all the jobs I've applied for, so I'm just going to literally reel them off to you. I did aim slightly high on some jobs to see what I could do. But anyway, let me just fill you in anyway. So I went for Accrington, Stanley and Morecambe, League 2. I didn't get the job, unfortunately, for those. I went for Aston Villa. Obviously, I didn't really get that job. Real Sociedad B I went for as well, in the second league in Spain. I even applied for Dunfermline in Scotland. I applied for Atalanta, Syria. Obviously, I didn't get that job either. Espanyol, I applied for Espanyol as well. Didn't get that job. I applied for Telford AFC. Didn't get that job. Telford are in Vanarama North, and I didn't even get that job. I applied for Newport County, and I actually had an interview for Newport County. And Newport County are in the Vanarama National, so that was pretty good. I did then apply for Harrogate as well. So Harrogate are in the National League North, you can see here, and they are mid-table. Excuse me. They are mid-table, and I applied for them. I got an interview at Harrogate as well, and then got offered the job. But I was just like, there was something in me that was like, no, I don't think I want to stay in the Vanarama National North. I just felt like I wanted something different. So I applied for others. Charlton, they lost their manager, so I applied for Charlton, didn't get a job. Applied for Halifax in Vanarama National, didn't get the job. Applied for Peterhead in Scotland, and I got an interview at Peterhead, but I didn't really want the job, so I kind of gave them really bad answers, and then I didn't get that job. And there was one other team that I did apply for. One other team, and I thought, I'm going to go for this job, I'm going to apply for this job. It wasn't a step up, but it was a step to the side. And I then got the interview, and I sat in the interview, and I gave some good answers. And it's tough in the interview because they ask you things like, your job in your, you failed in your last job, why should we employ you now? And I was saying things like, well, my experience shows you how good I am. I'm like, the only experience I've had is literally this one job as this manager, so I don't know why I'm saying that, but I still managed. As about a week later, I received a letter through the post, and that letter was offering me the job at the one, the only Gosport Borough, everybody. Gosport Borough, which I've accepted the job at. Gosport Borough, everyone. That's it. This is the new team is Gosport Borough. And I accepted the job. I thought, you know what, I could go for Harrogate, which is up north, which is, in the Vanarama National North, which is ultimately, I was in that league already. But Gosport is by the sea. Do you know what I mean? Gosport is by the sea, so I thought, you know what, I fancy living by the sea. But also, there were some other reasons as well. Let me just show you a little bit about Gosport. I'm still getting to know them a little bit, to be honest. Very, very, very much at the beginning of things here with Gosport. But here's them, founded in 1994, semi-professional, they're local, okay finances, very ropey finances, really. Their chairman, randomly, who invited me to the interview, is David Beckham. I don't think it's the real David Beckham. You couldn't click on his name, so I don't think it's the real one. So anyway, yeah, here they are, 1944. They founded. Their general, they don't really have any fierce rivals. They've got a few rivals here, Havant at Waterlooville, Portsmouth, Moneyfields and Fareham, because they're sort of down south along the coast there. Media predicted them as 8th, and they're currently 12th in the Vanarama League South. But it all looks quite close for the last sort of, if you look at sort of 3 points either side of them, goes up to 9th, goes down to sort of 13th, 14th. So they are very much mid-table, and obviously they're predicted to be a bit higher. So I thought, why not take them on? Average ticket price £13, value 190k. Yeah, not so bad. I will look at the squad in a later one, but I just thought, I'm ready for this. I'm up for this crowd, this club. I'm really up for it. Let me show you the facilities they've got. 4,500, 800 seated, which was also a little bit bigger than Harrogate. I thought, you know what, I'm going to go up a notch for Harrogate. Harrogate have their training facilities and youth facilities were below average, and I know this is poor and basic, but I just feel that Gosport are probably in a slightly better position to take them onto higher things. So I thought, why not make it a little bit easier for myself, eh? I think I deserve it after my poor showing with Gloucester. So this is it. So you know what I realised when I took on the leadership of Gosport Borough is that I was thinking, okay, what am I going to call this new save? What am I going to call it? I can't call it the Gloucester Gamble anymore, obviously. So I'd like to welcome everybody, because I thought, I'm going to have to come up with a snappy new title. But Gosport, Gloucester. So now, everybody, I'd like to welcome you all to the Gosport Gamble. Yes, the Gosport Gamble. This is it. That's the genius name I came up with. So there we go. So this is about it, really. Just a personal message from Mark Hook, Gosport Chairman Mark Hook. That wasn't the person who invited me to the interview. David Beckham invited me to the interview. But anyway, Mark Hook has welcomed me to assuring that I can rely on the full backing. I've been given a deal for a year. The only vision they expect me to do is to sign young players for the first team, which I'm really up for doing. I really like to do that. They want to hold a meeting with me, so I'll go to that meeting. It does say players currently unhappy, concerns you have to deal with, blah blah blah. I've got to look at the captain here. I've got a whole bunch of things to do. But anyway, so welcome to the Gosport Gamble, everybody, and it will kick off tomorrow with my first game. Let me show you the schedule I've got coming up. I've got Ebbsfleet and then 2 games against Concord Rangers. They're in a bit of a mixed form at the moment. You look at the last 6 games, they've kind of won some, lost some, drawn one. If we were to look at the table, Ebbsfleet are 3rd in the league, so it's a tough game to start me off. But then following that, we've got 2 games against Concord, who are low down in the league. So maybe these first few games I might be able to scrape together a bit of a win. We'll take a look at the squad, we'll see what we've got, and we're going to go for it. So any advice straight away that you think I should crack on with first? My staff, what should I do with my staff? Training wise, what do you think I should train in? Just give me a heads up and let me know, and we'll get going in the next episode. So this is it for today. Thanks for joining me. Sorry there's been no game today, but this is we're in the transition period with this episode. It's not called the Gloucester Gamble. This is just the unemployment stage, the unemployment time. I don't know what we'll call it, but the next game, the Gosport Gamble, begins. So come and join me as we go down the coast and as we seek to take Gosport as high into the seas of higher leagues, and see what we can do. Anyway, but that's about it for me. Recognise this is a totally weird video, but next time we're back to normal, back to standard, back to the usual, and we'll crack on with the Gosport Gamble. If you like this stuff, do hit the like button and subscribe on YouTube. You can also, I'm on Twitch and streaming at Worst Football Manager Ever, and as well as that I'm on Twitter at Worst F Manager. But for now, and until next time, I will see you later.